Welcome to Cali's Take. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, also hit the notification bell so you can get the newest content first. But hey, let's just go ahead and jump right in. Kawhi Leonard spoke about his frustrations with the Clippers and everything and how things have been going lately and the losing streak that they had just a week ago until they actually broke their losing streak by winning a game. But at the same time, there's no consistency in their game. There's no consistency in their flow and how they are as a team. So Kawhi Leonard himself, spoke on the fact of what they need to improve on. And what Kawhi Leonard thinks they need to improve on as a team overall, mainly is really execution. And that's what he says, and you can read in the LA Times article, which that's what I was reading, and a few other articles. But you can read that where he says execution is a big part of what we need to do and what we need to have happen. The only problem with the execution part is it's hard to get that when you don't have, all the necessary pieces you need on the floor at one time, so you can, build that chemistry so the execution can, happen a lot more fluid. And that's the reason why the Clippers just look up and down. That's the reason why their offense looks up and down. And that's the reason why the Clippers don't really look like a better team or a dominant team. They look like a Jekyll and Hyde team right now. They're one or two games above 500, and the West is so tight. You have to pretty much win like every night just to stay afloat. And the Clippers, if they go on another 5-6 game losing streak, which I hope they don't, but if they do, they could find themselves in play-in tournament area. And that's not where they want to be, because that's one of them situations where, you're not given a chance to be in a 7-game series, and you might lose to one or two opponents and put yourself out of the playoffs or out of contention of the playoffs. And, you never got a chance to reach your goal. So the Clippers are going to have to figure out ways to, generate more offense through other players. Because right now, like I said, their injuries are taking over them as they did the last couple seasons. But even beyond that, when they play, the lack of execution that Kawhi Leonard is talking about more or less references to the fact that, when you look at the Clippers play, they just jack up shots. They don't really have no consistent ball movement. It's not like, when they played the Nuggets the other night again, the reason why Nuggets beat them the other night without Jokic, because the Nuggets play the same way, the same consistent way, no matter who's on the floor. Their strategy, their identity never changes it doesn't depend on who's on the floor. It's just their identity is the same. They're going to move the ball. They're going to share the ball. They're going to find the wide open man. They're going to look for the more high percentage shot. Whoever is getting off at that time, they keep going to him. But if there is a higher percentage shot, make the extra pass. Find that wide open person, make the higher percentage shot. Now you're putting yourself in position to, get easier buckets. And then, you have players who, come off screens cutting straight to the basket. Then sometimes you can find one of them cutting to the basket from the 3-point line. Now you got an easy 2 points. Whereas the Clippers, a lot of times, it's either isolation with Kawhi, which is not bad because Kawhi is an isolation player and he's very good at being isolated because he knows how to, find his shot, get his space, and take that jumper that he's lethal at. But at the same time, there's no crisp ball movement all around the court when you watch the Clippers play. It's almost like when you see Paul George play with Kawhi. It's almost like they play take-turn basketball. It's not no chemistry to where they're finding each other, making the extra pass. It's like, everybody's just jacking up shots. And sometimes the Clippers get a little happy with just jacking up threes because they know they're a good 3-point shooting team when they're on. But like I said, when you live by the 3, you die by the 3. And sometimes I think that's the biggest issue I see with the Clippers. They don't really have enough ball movement in regards to how they score consistently. Some nights they move the ball pretty well. Some possessions throughout the game, they move the ball pretty well, but it's not consistent enough to make them a deadlier team and make their identity, stronger as a team. Because if they played the way the Nuggets played, or if they played the way the Warriors played with all the ball movement and, the little bit more being unselfish and getting all those assists off of, easy baskets, the Clippers' life would be so much easier because they got so many good scorers and shooters and stuff, if they just make the extra pass sometime on offense and, really find the more high percentage shots and get the, guys cutting to the basket and really cutting hard to the basket and trying to make, those extra plays like that, the Clippers offense would be so much easier ran. And then on top of that, when they do decide, when they are on with the three, it'll make them so much more of a dominant team because teams would know that, hey, this team moves the ball and there's always somebody moving off the ball where there's somebody cutting to the basket like a Terrence Mann, like an Amir Coffey or somebody like that. You know what I'm saying? So somebody who has that type of energy, and hell, sometimes even Kawhi Leonard and Paul George can, run off the ball and cut to the basket and get an easy layup. It's like the Clippers don't play with that type of mentality, and that mentality right there wins you championships because sometimes getting easier, more efficient baskets allows your offense to get a rhythm rather than just, taking threes. And when you're in rhythm with threes, you're in. When you're out of rhythm with threes, you're just out. You see what I'm saying? It's like that's not a good enough strategy to win a championship. And that's why I think that they need to, build up more of an identity as a team and build up more of a strategy that could make them a better team in regards to how they go at people offensively, no matter who's on the floor. And that's the reason why I said they couldn't beat the Nuggets, because the Nuggets play with that same type of mentality. Whether Jokic is on the floor or not, they play with the same identity. They play with the same, we're going to pass the ball, move it, get the high percentage shot, live with the results. And this is what I'm saying. I just feel like the Clippers don't really have, a strategic plan going into games. They just feel like they can win games based on their talent and what they have on the floor and all these pieces, in which a lot of nights they can. But when you play a team with a little bit more chemistry and a little bit more unity, like a Denver Nuggets, it's going to be hard to beat them because they play more sound basketball on both ends of the court. The Clippers play more solo basketball on one end of the court, and at times they really can lock down on defense, but their backs have to be against the wall sometimes for them to do that, even in the playoffs. So, I mean, it's like, or they need to be down 10, 15 points in the game and make a comeback, and, that's when they start playing the way they're supposed to. But sometimes, you should just be the dominant team from the start to the finish, and that's the reason why I think that the Clippers just have to find a way to get healthy so they can become that. But it just doesn't seem like, that card is in their favor as well. But I definitely agree with Kawhi Leonard. They have to be more, they have to have better execution. They have to, communicate a lot more and live on the defensive end more and, get away from all these minutes restrictions and all these other things and go out there and just play basketball. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way they're really going to get to the level that everybody thinks that they can get to. And, even themselves, there's probably doubt in the locker room now because, looking at the several game losing streak that they had about a week or two ago, and, you're hearing this about, John Wall getting injured, Paul George already out the hamstring, and Kawhi's, still, trying to really finalize the, comeback of, really being, back into rhythm and everything like that off his ACL injury. And it's like, you hope all this comes together in time enough, for before the playoffs. But I mean, it's definitely, coming very close. So, I mean, we definitely want to see, these guys get healthy enough and build that chemistry enough before the playoffs come, because it's going to be a tough one. It's not going to be easy. Every round's going to be tough, and every opponent's going to be tough in the West. So, I mean, even from the play-in tournament all the way to the teams that's in the playoffs. So the Clippers better be ready, better be healthy, and they better start executing plays a lot more better and executing as a team a lot better, because if they don't, they're going to find themselves in a lot more tougher games that they should win and they should, dominate. But hey, that's my take on everything. Leave any comments in the comment section. Check my other videos if you haven't. And hey, till next time.